For this segment, we're talking with Mary Bednar, the Township's Director of Public Services. And we're talking about how we fix our residential streets in the Special Assessment District, or SAD process. We know we have 203 miles of residential streets in Clinton Township, and we've got this report from 2018 that shows us that nearly half of them are ranked poor to failed. Help us figure out what's going on here.
Thanks, Paul. There are many factors at work here. First, some of our older subdivision streets are about 70 years old, and many of what we consider newer neighborhoods are 30 to 40 years old. It's important to note that the road's expected service life is 20 to 25 years. So even though we build better roads today than we did 20 to 30 years ago, there is still an age issue, as well as a jurisdictional funding issue.
Focusing on jurisdiction and funding, we've learned that all public roads in Clinton Township are under the jurisdiction of the Macomb County Department of Roads. The Department of Roads tells us they don't receive enough money from the state to fix the main roads. If that's true, then they certainly don't have enough money to fix all these residential streets. With that in mind, tell us how we fix these residential streets.
Fixing residential streets, in most cases, requires the establishment of a special assessment district, or more simply put, an SAD. This provision is authorized by state law to raise funds to pay for public infrastructure improvements, with those that are getting direct benefits from the improvement responsible for the payment. Examples of SADs can be streetlights, water and sewer lines, but the most common is the reconstruction of residential streets.
If you want the streets in your neighborhood fixed, you need to get together with your neighbors and figure out how to pay for it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Essentially, yes. But it's a partnership between the Department of Roads, the township, and the residents. Through the township, residents are petitioning the Macomb County Department of Roads to reconstruct their street. The township is handling much of the administrative process. If enough residents agree to sign the petition, the cost of the reconstruction is then assessed to all the residents who live on that road.
So, Mary, we've seen that this is a very long and cumbersome process. Folks begin by contacting you at the township. You work with those residents to draw up a district, and you then send out a team of engineers, prepare a cost estimate. Then residents ask their neighbors to sign a petition agreeing to split up those costs. If more than 50% of the residents sign, we at the township then schedule this public hearing. That's where everyone can speak and ask questions. Afterwards, if enough property owners still agree, that's where the Macomb County Department of Roads takes over. They then go out and hire contractors to complete the reconstruction.
Even though it seems like a long explanation, this is a simplified synopsis. There are a lot of legal provisions and many more steps. It's important to mention that while the township is responsible for administering this process, final decisions are ultimately made by the Macomb County Department of Roads.
All right, let's get to cost. Roads are expensive, and the cost per property owner can be overwhelming. Give us a sense of how these costs are determined.
When the district is drawn, the total cost is divided by the total front footage of each property within the SAD. Residents can pay up front or spread the balance on their tax bill over 10 years. And yes, the total can be overwhelming for many families. This is a good time to mention the $2 million grant from the county. For most projects we've completed, we competed for and received a matching grant where Macomb County pays 50% and the residents pay the other half.
Right. This county grant of $2 million is not just for Clinton Township, it's for all the townships. That makes it very limited and very competitive. Mary, tell us how we can get the township to pick up part of these costs.
We look to see if there's any water and sewer lines that need to be replaced in the next 10 years, because it's more efficient to do these projects at the same time, and it often lowers what residents have to pay. Also, residents are inconvenienced by construction just once instead of multiple times.
While we've reconstructed residential streets through the SAD process and utilizing this competitive grant, we know that far too many of our residential streets are ranked poor to failed. How can we get more money to help residents lower their costs?
I think this is where the work of the Establishing Quality Roadway Committee comes in. The committee has categorized problems and began discussions with county and state leaders. Now county leaders are lobbying state lawmakers for more money for subdivision roads. We also need legislators to fix systemic issues with funding created by Public Act 51. However, we know it will take a collective voice of people and communities to contact our legislator and help us deliver this message.
Well said, Mary. So if you want to explore getting your residential street fixed, utilizing this SAD and competitive county matching fund process, call our Public Services Department at 586-286-9300. Visit our About Roads page on clintontownship.com, where you can find more informative videos and how to contact your state legislator with our easy-to-use fillable form. Let's make our voices heard and establish quality roads here in Clinton Township.